Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.
What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a wonderful start to your Friday morning here. I'm Andrew Scheid, and welcome in to the Prime Coverage Sports Network Sports Mayhem Morning Show. Again, like I said, I'm Andrew Mighty Man Scheid, your host here. Along with me today is co-host of Unfiltered Sports on Monday nights, Marcus Mack. How are we doing today, Marcus?
What's up, brother? What's up, brother? I'm doing excellent, just taking it very easy, enjoying my time with you once again here to talk some sports on a Friday morning. Lots going on, obviously, so hey, let's just get right into it, yeah?
Right, and I think one of the big things in recent news that's really hit is Puka Nacua heading to rehab, and I'm gonna let you kind of kick off with this because I don't know much about it. Not much was released because when it was released, all they said was for his agent that he was going to rehab. I didn't see anything about for what, why he was going. I mean, I think
No,
that's
that
the biggest question.
everything's kind of lock and key right now in that regards. You are correct. There hasn't been a lot of information that's necessarily come out exactly when this was reported, why it, what transpired, what made Puka Nacua have to come out and say immediately that he needed rehab. Well, I take that back. I'm sorry. No, the reason why he has reported into rehab, that there is reason behind that. What I'm saying is that we don't know when his problem started.
Right.
The reason that he has reported into rehab is because there was charges filed against Puka Nacua that allegedly he attacked a young lady, he assaulted her and bit her, and from these charges, Puka Nacua checked himself into rehab. It says the lawsuit that was filed against him last month. A woman in Los Angeles filed a lawsuit against Nacua, alleging that he made an unprovoked anti-Semitic statement on New Year's Eve and later bit her on the shoulder. He was in rehab a substantial period of time before any of those allegations broke, and he's scheduled to be there for a while longer. So it seems to me the way it's playing out is that this story was going to be something that he knew was going to break, and he did a preemptive strike by checking himself into rehab because of whatever issues he has going on. I'm assuming that these issues must be tied to this lawsuit for him to check himself into rehab. And I mean, obviously, once he's out of rehab, then more questions can be answered. But he is, Nacua denies the allegations in the lawsuit in the strongest possible terms, and that he has video evidence that underscores the plaintiff's behavior. So he is denying the actions, but it still doesn't stop the fact of that Puka Nacua, because of this lawsuit, it came into light that he was checked into a rehab. That he had checked into a rehab. So, even though he's denying these allegations, it's also kind of a little suspicious as to why he would turn himself into a rehab days before the story would break.
I mean, and that's the big thing is like you're saying, oh, I'm denying all these all this stuff and it didn't happen, but in the same breath, I'm checking myself into rehab. That kind of sends the wrong message, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it was it's a situation where you definitely, it's strange. It really is. It's kind of like, wait a minute. And this happened they're saying in January, but he was playing in a conference title game and was just a game away from playing in the Super Bowl. So,
Right.
so was he did he have a problem then while he was playing in these games? And so it's just kind of funny now how all of a sudden now the team is like, oh, we're gonna put our arms around him. We're here to support him and this and that. But he was playing on the field. So this woman filed these charges last month. So that would have been in now in March. So she filed these charges in March, but she's saying that the incident happened in New Year's Eve, which would have been December 31st, heading into January 1st. So from literally from 2005, right at the end of 2005 to 2006 is when this incident happened, and he still went on to play. He still went on to play and finish out his football season, and then turn around and make a playoff appearance. And after all this happened, then the allegations, then the woman files a lawsuit. So that also kind of makes me wonder a lot of other things. And I mean, this is all speculation. I have no evidence. This is just me just thinking of the court of my, just thinking, out of my own head as a human being. It just makes me wonder if there was some type of financial acts that happened, and when Nacua didn't reach that, then this lawsuit was filed. It almost kind of seems like it was, let's try to put this off, let's try to sweep this under the rug while the season is going, and then once the season ended, then no one really cared as much. Do whatever, let it out. Puka's in rehab now, coincidentally, and he'll gonna be there a little bit longer. Probably won't be. Let's see. What it's saying here is that he will complete the program in plenty of time to be involved in all of Rams OTAs. So I just find all this very convenient.
Yeah,
for a person that's had allegations now come against him, that it's all very convenient that now he could go into rehab, and that rehab's going to be done in time for Rams OTAs, and it's a lot of fishiness around it, and it seems to be a lot of it's wrapped up with Nacua's the fact that he's got a contract coming up, the fact that they wanted to make sure that he was able to play football, and that he was football eligible because they thought that they were on a Super Bowl run. And now that the season is over and they know that they could get him back in plenty of time for OTAs, all these things could now come out and he could be in rehab, but we don't know what he's in rehab for. We just know he's in rehab. And I just found all of it very suspicious and fishy from in both parties, the Rams and Nacua side. And at the same time, there still is the matter of an allegation against him of making very improper comments and attacking someone. So I think that part needs to be dealt with first before we start talking about an addiction. But it just seems that they kind of threw the addiction rehab thing out there to take people's eyes off of the actual allegation.
And here's the thing with all this that's kind of striking me as odd. He goes through all this, yet it seems like the Rams are staying behind him, which is, I don't want to say concerning, but making me scratch my head, because if I'm the Los Angeles Rams and I had someone associated with me and all this going on, I would kind of want to take a step backwards. I wouldn't want to be in the foreground saying we support this guy and he's still part of our team. I don't know, that there's just all this
talent, Andrew. Talent. You have to remember that talent is going to drive a lot, and when you are talented, so many things are forgiven, and that's just a fact. So many things are forgiven when you are that talented, and Nacua is that talented, and so therefore, when you have that type of talent, it is all of a sudden now okay for certain behaviors to be allowed, or for us to try to sweep them under the rug. And I just think that
that's not right.
That's a real issue.
Let's be honest, that's not right. Just because I have talent doesn't mean I should get a free pass to do whatever the Smurf I want. it always gets to me that sometimes these players, and this is just my opinion, you know, everyone has their own opinion, but sometimes some of these players can get so entitled when they get to that superstar level, you know?
Well, I mean, that is the sad part about it, and it's the unfortunate part of it all. It is that exact thing. Is like you said, is that a player can get to a certain point where it's like, okay, I'm allowed to do whatever I want in a way because I know I've got talent, or not even the player per se, but the organization that's around that player. That to me bothers me even more because it's like, oh, we're gonna protect you as long as you are a value and an asset to us, and then the moment that you're not, now all of a sudden, oh, your dirty deeds can now come out. But the whole time that we think that you can help us win a Super Bowl, then so many things can be let go, and it just bothers me on both sides. It bothers me that Puka Nacua doesn't have the. I mean, hey, maybe it is false. I'm not gonna say it's true, but okay, fine. The allegations aren't true, but then why are you in rehab?
Right.
And hopefully he'll give us answers to that, because people need to understand that if the allegations are true, great, refute them. We're fine. We'll stand behind you. It's innocent until proven guilty. But
Right.
you are in rehab now, and you were playing in significant NFL games. And so what, did this addiction just start as soon as the season ended?
Right.
I,
Did something happen in the postseason?
right, in the
Was there
last
an
two
unknown
months.
injury? I mean,
Right.
what happened?
So it's just like, yeah, it's disturbing all the way around because of that. But at the same time, we we just have to wait and see. And
Right.
this is also the brilliant part about the NFL. Like I tell people all the time, I absolutely love the NFL because the NFL knows how to generate headlines all the time. I mean, man, they're beautiful at that. They are absolutely brilliant. And I am impressed day by day with the things that they are able to accomplish um when a season isn't even going on. And it's just like, wow, this these guys, they got it down, don't they?
Yeah,
They got it
they
down,
do.
Andrew. They
But
got it down, man. They got it down.
Puka Nacua is not the only, I want to say, superstar athlete that has had some issues lately, and it's kind of just becoming a sport wide thing at this thing. There's been some troubled athletes. A
It's
legendary
becoming,
golfer in the name of Tiger Woods had some issues lately, and he is now
he's
in rehab. So I
yes.
mean, just the downfall of some of these guys makes you sad when you're a child, because I remember growing up, I mean, Tiger Woods was the pinnacle of the PGA. No one could beat
Tiger
him.
Tiger was the
And
man.
and now he's fallen to this. So, it makes me think, you know,
Yeah,
who are
no,
these guys really underneath?
it 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 definitely starts to make you question a lot of what's going on, because you start to see so many of these top prominent athletes that have issues beyond field. And what it just tells you is that they're human. They're human. And you know what? I always sympathize and understand the human element of things. I I am more than willing to, like I said, give you benefit of the doubt. But it is sad to see that someone that can hit the heights that these athletes hit, and they get to a place where we all dream and wish that we could go, and yet they still hit and land into these very common life pitfalls
Right.
that we all do. And it just shows you in a lot of ways that we're not so different. And it also kind of brings things around 360 that makes you, like I say, you understand that even though they are special people. They are unique humans. They are human. And that's something that we do have to keep in mind. And so it is, like I say, I wish that we had more information when it came to Puka. I would wish we had more information when it came to the likes of Tiger Woods. But at least the one thing I can say is that I'm glad that they're getting the help. And I think that
very
probably
much so.
that's probably more important than anything, is that they're getting the help. And I think that we need to just make sure that we focus on that more than anything, is that they are getting the help.
Right. I mean, that's the big thing I want to take away from all this is they're getting the help and they've realized it and they're trying to make themselves better. And I think that's how we need to end that part of the show. But to end the sad news, in the NBA last night, Lakers were playing. Luka Doncic went down. He now has a hamstring injury. This is not good news if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers.
No, it was very well, the whole thing was a disappointment because the Lakers, the idea was that they were on a come up.
Right.
They were looking hot. Been playing
LeBron
some
was
really
looking
good.
like a young LeBron at times. I mean, they
Yeah,
were
been
starting to
playing
show
some good
things.
playing some really good basketball, and so this was a great litmus test for this squad going against the defending champs, who are starting to get themselves in the playoff form. And to be honest with you, Andrew, it was not pretty. Okay. The Los Angeles Lakers, man, got mopped. I mean, it was right out the gate. It was right out the gate. The it didn't even look like the Lakers even wanted to play. They were getting beat down. Thunder were bringing it to them right out the jump. And then on top of that beat down, Luka Doncic suffers a hamstring injury. So there was two things that I feel like we learned from yesterday's game against the Thunder. One, the Thunder are just still that good, and the Lakers got a lesson. And hey, if you really think you want to try to say you're a championship team, you're gonna have to do a little bit more, buddy. But we secondly now have seen what health and nutrition, how important it's going to be in determining the NBA titles. We always talk about these matchups, and at the end of the day, in the last couple seasons, matchups have been more determined by health than actual players on the court. Tyrese Halliburton going down in the playoffs. Jason Tatum going down in the playoffs last year. And miraculously, Jason Tatum being able to return now and get back on the court. So you couldn't have predicted that a couple years back. Well, now it's been a few years back, actually, when Kevin Durant tears his Achilles in the finals against Toronto, and that helps Toronto get the advantage to win. So, as much as I love to talk about these matchups and when these players play, I think it's more important about health. And that's what we learned yesterday more than anything when we saw Luka Doncic go down with the hamstring injury, is that no matter how big your aspirations are, your top players have got to be able to stay healthy and be available. And as soon as Luka went out, the game was already over as was. But once Luka went down, It was really no chance. And now we're wondering, when can he be back, and will he be ready for the first series of a playoffs? And if he's not, all that steam and the momentum that the Lakers built, it's going to mean nothing. And they're going to be a first round outing. I could promise you that.
Right. And that just shows how much Luka has been a leader to this team throughout all of this, right? And we're just gonna have to see how the Lakers fare without him for a little bit. And like you said, the big question is, we don't know, will he be back for a playoff run?
Yeah, that's the huge thing now at this point, is that man, we coming into it, it was okay. Everybody was excited about this matchup. We're gonna, and Luka is being mentioned in the MVP races, and rightfully so. He should be. He's been excellent basketball for the last month down the season, but at the same time, it's also a situation where we are now seeing how that could cost you, to where now where you were trying to go out there and make this run, make this push, attrition is a big part of it. And you know what? I don't know at this point, because right now we're sitting where they're sitting. If they were to have to play the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round without Luka Doncic, they're getting an exit. They're getting an exit big time, and that's just my personal feeling. I know a lot of Lakers fans are out there, but I'm sorry, LeBron is not in the age where he can try to carry a team through a tough playoff series.
Yes.
Now, if it was somebody like the Trailblazers that they were facing, or the Phoenix Suns, the Lakers could manage without Luka. But going against the top tier teams in the West, which is Minnesota, Houston, Denver, Spurs, and the Thunder, they don't stand a chance without Luka in their roster. And with a hamstring injury, I don't know anybody that's able to return from a hamstring injury in a week's time. It's usually a 2-week injury at best to be able to return from. And now remember, this is playoff basketball, so you have to return at peak conditioning, ready to go, because these guys, everybody's giving it their all. It's a different season when the playoff starts.
Yep, I mean, it really is, and that's with any sport. And we're just going to have to see how they fare. Marcus, moving on to the MLB, been talking about that a lot lately, but big news out of the MLB today. The number one MLB prospect, Konnor Griffin, has gotten a call up by the Pittsburgh Pirates and will be starting today in their home opener. Throughout the whole league is exciting, because I watched a lot of this kid. He's 19 years old. I watched a lot of this kid when I could catch him during spring training games. And the power this kid has at the plate is astronomical. He can light up big league pitching. I'm really excited to see how his major league debut goes. But when a number one MLB prospect get called up, I feel like that's a great day in the league.
Always. This is why the league has gotten exciting again. I think that the problem was for Major League Baseball, and people were saying that, oh man, is losing some of its luster and this and that. And I don't necessarily know if it was that they were losing, that it was people were losing interest. I just think that a lot of the younger generation wasn't connecting with these older players that were moving past their prime, that did not come into the league, as youngins, but were already as these established vets. The kids just didn't, for whatever reason, they weren't connecting with them, and youth connects with youth. And I've always believed that. And so I think that a lot of the excitement that has returned to baseball is the fact that we're seeing a lot of these young players come in from minor league, from the college ranks, from overseas, from down in the Latin American countries, and they're able to come in and make an impact and be special out there. And that's what you see driving Major League Baseball more than anything. It's no more Bryce Harpers of the leagues and Manny Machados. It's guys like Bobby Witt Jr. and you've got Ohtani, and you've got the young pitcher for Pittsburgh Pirates right now, Paul Skeens, and Skubal from Detroit. And this is where you're seeing the excitement and baseball. This is where you're seeing the only real guy that's established vet in the league that garners a lot of attention still is the very guy that we were talking about last week on the show, Aaron Judge, who's been in the league for 11 years. But the reason why Aaron Judge garners so much attention and excitement is because he's been delivering every season in those 11 years. He's somebody that people are excited to see. He's a perennial MVP. And so that garners excitement. It's not just one thing to be in the league and have done things, but it's if you're continuing to do things that will generate and keep young fans interested and wanting to know what you're doing in the league. And so I think this is a great thing to bring this kid up. And I'm hoping for great things for Konnor Griffin. I want it to be a big debut for him. I hope that he can come in and he can make a big showing, because it's great for the league. It's great to continue the game, to draw in youth, and it just creates excitement, and I'm there for it.
Right. And one thing I want to ask you, because I'll give my thoughts first. I think this is going to be a very nervous day for him. I think there's going to be pressure on him. Being the number one MLB prospect, getting that call up, the whole league is going to be watching this Pirates game today. The whole league is going to be watching it because they want to see how he's going to perform, because why am I the number one prospect? And now he's got to go out there and show them why. So there's going to be an added level of pressure. I think a little more than just a normal. I mean, every rookie debut, there's a level of pressure. But I think Konnor Griffin's just going to have a little more today, being that number one prospect.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that always comes with the territory, is when you are a young player and you have expectations. How realistic can they be? And I think that's always the greatest intangible that comes into a young player's debut. As exciting as we are to see any young player, any young prospect debut in any league, it is now the flip side of it. Is he ready? Is it going to be too much? Is he ready for the big moment? Can he handle the big stage so young in his career? Remember, now this is a 19-year-old kid, okay? So we do have to keep that in mind. It reminds me a lot of the situation with the Chicago Blackhawks and Connor Bedard.
Right.
He's been tapped as this generational talent, and it's taking him time to get there. And people still are saying that he's not the best player in the NHL. Some people are even saying he's not even top 5 yet. He's just starting to crack top 10. So for us to expect this kid to just come in here, 19 years old, and he's going to dominate a grown men, major league pitching, let's put some real expectations behind that. Let's not just, put so much pressure on this kid that just because he's batting 230 with 15 home runs and maybe 50 something RBIs, he's not going to be good. You got to remember, he's still a kid. He has to grow into his grown man body, even though he already has a grown man body. He's 6'3", 222 pounds. So he's a big man. Okay. Like, make no mistake about it. The guy is a big size man. He can run. He's got a great arm. So he's got all of the things you need to be special and productive in the MLB. But major league pitching is the hardest thing in the world to try to master. Okay. The best batting average is 300. You're immortal if you're able to bat 400. That means that out of 10 at bats, you're only going to get 3 hits. You're only going to get 3 hits out of every 10 at bats. That means the pitcher's going to win more times than you're going to get hits. That's just reality. That's just reality. So for anyone to think that this kid, he's going to come in here and just dominate major league pitching, he's batting a 400 batting average, slugging over 1,000, and he's knocking 40 home runs. Come on.
I mean, I don't expect
even the best of the best can't even do that. So, I mean, what is a real expectation of a 19-year-old kid? And so that's where the pressure, I think, has to come from both sides, from the pundits ourselves. We have to temper our expectations so that he doesn't have to feel this massive amount of pressure if he's out there just being an average baseball player at 19 years old.
Right. And you know, here's the thing. He lit up pitching in spring training, but that's spring training. A lot of those guys, if I could quote a very famous baseball movie from back, I don't want to say back in the day because it's not too old, but most of those guys were, playing for a couple weeks and then they're going to be bagging groceries in a couple weeks. So how is he going to fare against true major league pitching? And that's what we're going to have to wait to find out. And that's going to be my curious thing because I forgot who it was and it escaped my mind this morning. But when they were talking about him on MLB Network, he was getting compared to the likes of Ken Griffey Jr. In his rookie season. But here's the difference. Cal Griffin barely hit 200 during spring training, then Ken Griffey Jr. hit 500 spring training his rookie year. So there are differences there.
There's levels. There's levels to it. And you know what? Hey, like I said, we're gonna, I'm not expecting great things right away. I'm expecting an adjustment period. I'm okay with him going through that adjustment period. I'm okay with him, getting himself acclimated properly to the game because I think that that's what's necessary. I think that he needs to be given time. I think you have to remember somebody like Ohtani had already played in a professional league before he came over.
Right.
To the majors. The same can be said for the White Sox rookie Mooney, who started out the season with 3 home runs straight.
And we're going to get in a professional later, but yeah,
he played in a professional league before he ever got. He came to the league as a grown man, and so when there's a difference of coming to the league as a grown man as opposed to coming to the league as a young guy, as a young teenager. That's got to learn how to be a professional. He's got to learn how to be an adult, and he's got to learn how to be a major league player. All these things at 19.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
19. For people that don't know, I just turned 26, right? And this guy's 19, about to play in a major league baseball game today. So don't expect him to go out there like people, like you said, had expectations for Mooney because he played in the NPR. He had professional experience. So expectations were a little higher. I don't expect Connor Griffin to go out there today and hit 2 home runs with 3 RBIs. I don't expect that. Just go out there and have a good MLB debut and try and give the team a good showing. That's all you can do.
That's it, man. Go out there, be your best, do your best, and enjoy yourself. Have fun. I mean, this is special. The fact that you're getting called up to the major league, to the big show. I just think that is, to me, beautiful. And so, therefore, enjoy that. Enjoy that. Be a part of that, and just rock with it because you put too much on yourself and then you miss the moment. You miss the fact that something special is happening. And so, if he goes out there and crushes one, awesome. If he goes out there and doesn't get a hit at all, that's fine too, because you're in the league now and now your career has started, and that's the most important thing. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see how he does with it.
Right, I am too. I want to talk a little, staying with the MLB, Marcus, I want to talk a little AL Central. The Royals and Twins are playing each other, or played each other yesterday. The Twins took down the Royals and had 3 home runs in doing so. Now, I thought the Royals would have been more of a threat in the AL Central than the Twins would have been. But I mean, Josh Bellingham, he even said in an interview, we didn't get a good start to the season, but, we're here and we just got to keep pressing forward. I mean, and that's with every team. I mean, me being a fan of the White Sox, they aren't having a good start to the season, but it is early, folks. It is truly early. If the White Sox win out, they still make the postseason. If the Boston Red Sox is another one that isn't doing well, and I want to talk about them a little bit. I guess we can go there. What is going on with Boston, Marcus? I was really expecting more out of this Boston Red Sox club, and they're not having a good start to 2026.
Well, Boston, like I said, like we talked about, I kind of felt like they were always kind of be, nipping at the heels of the Blue Jays and the Yankees to get things going. So I'm am I surprised that they're struggling right now a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not expecting them to win this division. So realistically, can they could turn it around, of course, and they can make a push for the wild card. I mean, people have to remember that last year the Brewers started 1-4 and went on to win the division. So a 1-5 start, definitely disappointing to open up the season. I'm pretty sure for the team, for the fan base, but at the same time, I don't think that that's going to continue. When you look at the teams around the league that are right now sitting at 1-5, the Chicago White Sox, I'm concerned more with that because I don't think the Chicago White Sox have good pitching. And what I've seen,
No.
their pitching is atrocious, and so therefore that's going to be concerning. And that's something to be alarmed. The Athletics, I think the Athletics are not that good. We all know the Athletics are not that good, and so that's where they're at. The Rockies are who they are. That's why they're 2-4. The Padres, shocked a little bit, but not really because they started the season out against some tough competition to get it going. So when you see that Boston is with the likes of a lot of the bottom feeders, it is a little like, whoa, what's going on there? But I'm gonna hold reserve. I think that they're a much better team than that, and so I'm not willing to go and push the panic button at all. Let's revisit this next week. And if Boston is sitting at like 2-10 or something, then we really might need to start talking.
That's cause for concern. But we started the AL Central. The Twins played the Royals, and I said it. I was not expecting the Twins to be more of a threat than the Royals. But that game yesterday, they lit up for 3 home runs. Josh Bell had one of those. Are the Twins going to be an unknown AL Central competitor this year?
I don't think so. The Minnesota Twins, I think they're in the same boat with the Chicago White Sox. They just don't have good pitching, and pitching has got to carry you. And I mean, Minnesota Twins are 2-4, Tigers are 2-4, the Sox are 1-5. I know that the Guardians are a pretty good team. That's why they're 4-3. I think that the Royals are gonna do exactly what the Royals do. They usually start the season out playing pretty decent baseball, and they wilter down the stretch. I don't see Minnesota being anything exactly than what I picked them to be at the beginning of the season, and that is bottom feeders in the major leagues.
Right, and it begs the question where a lot of these teams are going to end up. And one of the big things that's got me thinking about all of this is I've seen a lot of contracts being signed, a lot of extension being signed for over $100 million. Like each player's getting over $100 million for each contract extension. So I want to ask you this: how much closer is the MLB coming to that lockout phase?
Oh, it's happening. I'm convinced of it. The Players Association already reported, basically the MLB's union already reported that they have stashed away. I believe they said they stashed away $145 million in their war chest, and they're still collecting. So probably by the end of the season, they'll probably be sitting at somewhere about $200-something million in there. Why is that important? Everybody's saying why is that important? That's important because you would love to think that major league players have tons of money, say the way that they get these big contracts and they have money just sitting in their bank accounts. You'd be amazed at how much money these players spend on whatever it may be, business adventures, and property investments, where they just don't actually have liquid cash. And remember, just because you signed $100 million contract, they didn't give you all of that $100 million up front.
Yeah, okay. Like they didn't give Otani $100 million to go spend on whatever he wants.
You didn't get that up front. You got a check, and that check and over the time period of years of that check will add up to that $100 million. So the reason why the union is stashing that money away is for players can be able to properly hold out, because they know there's going to be players that are literally going to need those game checks to be able to feed themselves. And so they're going to try to make sure that they're able to get these players and hold them along as possible so that they can get the best deal negotiated out. Is because the only way this is going to end, it's not going to end until it has a salary cap.
Right.
What is it going to come down to is what is the number going to be negotiated at, and that's where it's going to have to be the happy medium, the sweet spot, as people might say, for both sides. But they're not coming back to a season without a salary cap in 2027. I can promise you that.
Here's the thing with that: leagues already have set in place like a minimum contract you have to hand out. So why isn't there a salary cap? Why isn't there a maximum that you can pay a player no matter what he does for your club? I don't care if you hit 100 home runs last season. There's got to be a cap of what you can pay a player. I mean, there just has to be.
Well, I think that, like I said, and this is not just on the players. I think that this salary cap is also owners holding other owners more accountable. I think that there's a rift in itself even amongst owners, and I think that that's why this lockout is imminent, is because this lockout is not just about players, but it's also about forcing the owners to be fair with one another. Like I've told you before, the LA Dodgers get $300 million in revenue from their TV deal. No other franchise in Major League Baseball has a revenue deal like that. So as much as it's going to be where teams are asking for the salary cap to be put in place, where that is something that affects the Dodgers, it also turns around and it affects the players, because now the players are looking at, well, hey, if the Dodgers are willing to pay me all this money and they can, that's where I'm going to go. If the Yankees are willing to pay me all that money and they can, that's where I'm going to go.
Right.
So now what has to be the flip side of it, and what players have to say, is now put it back on the owners to come to an agreement with themselves to where revenue sharing is equal and even, so that every team has the same operating salary cap. And then once that's established, now every player will still get their just due, as opposed to now where, this you no longer can be signed for this amount of money because we implemented this salary cap across the league, whereas that it has to be a thing where all teams have an equal salary cap. And then the things that are already in place, like the fact that they have to spend so much, every team has to spend so much revenue, but it's about how much revenue you're receiving. And so I believe if it's an equal thing where all teams, let's say they have a set salary cap, the NFL's every team, I think it's 300 million. Every team's got 300 million salary cap right now. Well, every baseball team should have a salary cap. 200 million? I don't know. You know what I mean? Whatever works out fair with a roster. Whatever works out fair with a roster. Let's put that in place so that players can still get max contracts and still get the value they deserve. But it's even and it's fair, so that the Minnesota Twins could be able to sign Ohtani just as much as the LA Dodgers. Then it comes down to, well, I want to just play for this organization and this team, as opposed to I can't play for this team because they can't pay me. When Paul Skeens becomes a free agent, and everyone knows that for the Pirates, it's not going to even be an issue of that. If he wants to stay with Pittsburgh won't be able to pay him the contract that he deserves.
No, they won't.
And that's why I am supporting the salary cap. And I know that takes away probably some food from players' mouths, but I'm supporting it just because of the fact that I want parity in baseball. I want it to be fair. I want a team like the Athletics to have a chance to win a ring again. I want a team like the Baltimore Orioles to have a chance to win a ring again because they have a fair system in place. The way the system is right now, the Colorado Rockies will not ever win a ring if this system stays away, because every time a player with any decency comes up, they're going to leave. The Pittsburgh Pirates in this current system will not ever have a chance to win a World Series in this current system, because every time a player gets good, he's going to leave. How is that fair to that fan base, to that franchise? I don't think it is.
And it just shows how this league has changed. And I'm just going to say it. These guys got into playing this sport as young kids because they loved the game. That's why I got into playing the sport. That's why I still go out and I love to bowl, because I love the sport. Even though I do it competitively, I love it, and that's why I do it. And when these guys get to the professional level, it becomes, because it's a business, it becomes more about the money than the love of the game. And I think that needs to stop. And I think a good way to say this is, I think the MLB needs to get back to the days where there's a FUD clip, and I will always remember this, when Anthony Rizzo was playing for the Cubs. Okay, and Freddie Freeman was new to the LA Dodgers. They were playing at Wrigley, and Anthony Rizzo had Freeman caught between second and third, and Rizzo's mic'd up, and you can hear him going, Freddie, and like laughing to each other. That's what this league needs to be. It needs to be less about how much money am I making, because I don't need to be living in a $5 million mansion out in the hills just to support myself because I'm a baseball player.
Andrew, let me ask you this. If someone offers you the best contract to work somewhere and talk sports, are you turning that money down because you're going to say, I'm doing this for the love? And I don't need to make the highest dollar because I love this. I love doing it so much that I'll take a lower contract, that I'll take less money because I love it so much, and that I'm not going to take the top dollar that's being offered to me. Now, mind you, you're not out here saying that give this to me and people feel like there's a shotgun to their head. This is the number you're putting out there, and someone's willing to pay it. So I'm not gonna get into players like that. I know, and I like your passion. I love it, but man, money talks, and for you to act like it doesn't, then I guess you'll be talking and doing sports for a bottom dollar for the rest of your career. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm taking the top contract to do my profession.
Here's my thing. Let's say, put it to you this way. Let's say the Dodgers were to offer me a big contract to come and call their games. Cool. But then I get a call from a team that I like. Let's just say I get a call from the Cubs and they offer me the same thing but for less money. I'm going to go call for the Cubs because I like their organization and they care more in my mind. It's more family oriented in my mind.
I think you're being way too naive, because if that contract for the Dodgers is 6+ figures and that one for the Cubs is like $50K, I'm going where there's 6+ figures. I want to improve my life, my family's life, and there's no way you're going to do that for a lower contract.
Why Harry Carey left the south side of Chicago? Because Reinsdorf had just taken over the team. He was switching the White Sox over to that sports vision. And Harry Carey got pissed because he believed that a fan should not have to pay for the right to watch him or watch the White Sox play a game.
How much money did he make? That's why
he went over to the north
and how
side.
Much money did he make from endorsements? How much money did Harry Carey get paid on the side from outside of just being on the Cubs for the holy? Thank you, because that came to him. If the big contract comes to you, I am not gonna blame a player for taking it. You take what comes to you, and you want to be treated and paid like the best if you think you are the best. And it's up to these franchises to make sure that they accommodate that said player. And if that franchise cannot accommodate that player has every right to go to where he feels he's going to get his max value. And I'm never gonna hate on a player for wanting to get their max value.
No, I won't either. I just feel these guys need to remember why they're playing the game because they love it.
I'm pretty sure they love it. I'm pretty sure they still love it. You're gonna tell me you don't think for 1 second that Michael Jordan didn't love it, but Michael Jordan wasn't out there playing for peanuts. I could promise you that.
Speaking of basketball, I want to spend the last 10 minutes. This weekend is the NCAA Final Four. I am excited. Final Four. You know our homer pick. I want Illinois to win. I think they have a shot against UConn. It's going to be an uphill battle, and we talked about this last week. I do think that Michigan is going to take down Arizona. I really do. I really think, if I had to be unbiased and say this, I really think your championship might be UConn against Michigan. I really do believe that.
I hope that Arizona wins because I want my bracket to stay true, and I picked Arizona in my bracket. So selfishly, just for my bracket, I want Arizona to win. But Michigan has been playing excellent basketball. It's a battle of two titans, and I absolutely love this heavyweight matchup. I'm absolutely in love with it. This is what you want coming down the stretch. You want the Titans to battle. I love it. I feel like UConn is an excellently coached team. They're an excellent team, but they're battling as well a Titan. I think that Illinois has come on strong at the end, especially at the end of the season, and especially in the tournament. This is a great opponent for each team, and then we're going to get an excellent final out of it, I believe, no matter how it's matched up. If it was Michigan, UConn, Michigan, Illinois, Arizona, UConn, Arizona, Illinois, however we're going to get it, I think that we're going to get an excellent final, and I'm really looking forward to watching this Final Four this weekend. I'm going to be tuned in and locked in, brother.
Right, and I'm in Illinois, so we got a lot of Illinois faithfuls. I'm in the Chicago area, so we got a lot of Illinois faithfuls out here that want, them to go all the way. UConn proved against Duke that they know what they're doing. They're not a fly-by-night organization. They got some good players, and they proved it. So my question to you, and we'll go by each game here, what does Illinois need to do if they want to take down UConn? And in the same token, what does UConn need to do if they want to take down Illinois?
UConn can't go out like they did against Duke and then hope to get a big comeback. I think that Duke, for whatever reason, blame it on coaching, blame it on young players. For whatever reason, they seem like they were a team waiting to lose instead of a team that was wanting to win. And even at the end, we saw the pressure destroy them. UConn was defeated, and they allowed UConn to come back and take that game. I think that for Illinois to win this game is exactly what they've been doing, playing dominant basketball, feeding into the post, hitting from the outside. Stojakovic has been coming off the bench. That seems to have been a brilliant move for them, and they have to make sure that they're knocking down their shots because UConn seems to have the premise to sometimes go very cold from the outside, and so Illinois needs to take advantage of that. If they do get up big, they need to understand that what Duke didn't understand, that UConn's going to do everything. They're going to fight. They're going to scrape. They have an excellent coach that knows how to make adjustments. So they're going to have to be willing to stay into the fight for the whole game if they do get up big and want to hold on. For UConn's going to have to make threes. UConn cannot go in a situation where they go cold. If they go cold, like I said earlier, they go cold like they did against Duke, that might be a problem against this team with Illinois. Illinois is more of a spread out offense. I think that Duke was more centralized around Boozer, and this team is more spread. So I think that if UConn is to be successful, they're going to have to play that good stingy defense and just simply knock down shots.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. And like you said, UConn cannot go at it like they did against Duke. They can't, like you said, they can't hope for another miracle comeback because let's be honest, that win against Duke was a miracle comeback that never should have happened. Let's be honest
The
about
game
all
was
that.
over. The game was over. The game
Let's
was
be
over.
honest.
All they had to do was hold the basketball. The game was over. So I don't see UConn getting a second opportunity. Now that being said, if UConn gets up big on Illinois, I with the way Dan Hurley is, and I think he's such an excellent coach, I don't know if Illinois will be able to mount a comeback against UConn. So it's gonna be important that Illinois makes sure that they're locked in and that they're ready for a battle, because if UConn comes out and they are knocking down shots and they are hot, and I think that if they do go up on Illinois, I don't think Illinois will be able to come back against UConn the way UConn came back against Duke.
No, it's not going to happen. Now, the flip side of this, you got the Michigan Wolverines, who I follow in all their sports because, you know, being a McCarthy, Brady, Harbaugh fan, how can I not follow Michigan? They're going up against the Arizona Wildcats. And the same token, it's going to be, what does Arizona need to do to take down Michigan? Because, you know, Michigan is playing really good basketball right now.
Well, that both teams are. Like I said, this is a juggernaut, and Michigan's actually favored right now, and rightfully so. I mean, they've gotten hot. They've steamrolled every opponent that stepped in front of them, but so has Arizona. And so I just feel like both teams match up very well. This is going to be an excellent game, and we're getting a special treat in the Final Four. Toss the coin up in the air. Who do you want to pick? Because both have down low play, both have shooting from the outside, excellent guard play. So, you know, let's just go. That's just it for me right now. Let's just go. And like I said, I'm obviously picking Arizona because I picked them in my bracket, and I want my bracket to stay true.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, and you know, my homer pick is Illinois. Underwood has done a really, really, really good job with this team. I mean, and this being his first Final Four appearance is astonishing to me. Being the coach that he is, he hasn't gotten here before. You know, and it just speaks to the turnover there is in college sports, because it is a lot more than professional sports. And
Yeah.
is he always going to have the players behind him, the right players to coach?
Well, we know Illinois' history is not for consistently making it back to the tournament. And I mean, it's been over 20 something plus years since we got to a Final Four. So, you know, I'm rooting, man. Hey, if there's any team that I want to win other than Arizona because of my bracket pick, I'm a homer, and I definitely want Illinois to win the championship. I don't care about the bracket at that point. And when we're talking about the matchups that are going on right now, Arizona and Michigan, I want Arizona to win because, like I said, I pricked them in my bracket.
Right. And I mean, this is going to be a good Final Four weekend. All teams are already there. Illinois, I saw all over my social media, was doing their media day, getting their pictures taken, doing all the fun promo stuff that'll be shown tomorrow night. It's just going to be a great time. And for anyone, both these teams, I think it's closer for Illinois fans and Michigan fans to get there because they're only playing at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. But these aren't far travels for fans of these schools that want to go to the Final Four or to the championship the following weekend.
No, it's good. It's good for that when fans can get a chance to be there and doesn't have to travel far to go and see their teams and root for them. And it just creates more of that special atmosphere. That's one of the things that also makes college basketball so special, because the fan bases are so rabid and so supportive of their teams, especially when they get this far. It just adds this extra special element out there that it's something that's really just, you know, can't be fabricated or made up again. It's just so unique and so organic. It's really beautiful. And like I said, I'll be locked in, man, watching the whole way.
Yeah. And like you said, it's infectious. My mom, one of my mom's best friends she taught with, went to Illinois, and she's been going nuts this entire tournament, and she's ready for the Final Four. You
Yeah,
know,
it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm just ready for it. Like I said, I'm locked in and hey man, let's go. Andrew, I want to thank you, man. Once again, I love
yep,
being on the show with you, brother. It's always fun to join. This is
yep.
gonna be
I
another
want to
exciting weekend of sports.
Yep, I want to thank you for joining me here, Marcus. I want to thank everyone who joined me for this lovely hour of the Sports Mayhem morning show here on this Friday morning. You can catch me later on this afternoon on WRMN Radio covering for the host Derek Geyer on Big Top Sports from 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, WRMN Radio on YouTube, or if you live in the Fox River Valley area, that's AM 1410 on your dial. You could also catch Marcus Truth About Chicago Sports on that exact same channel tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Do I got that correct, sir?
Yes, sir. 8 a.m. Central Time. And make sure to all out there that are listening right here on Prime Coverage Sports Network, like and subscribe to our channel, please. It's just a simple click. Just go and click on that subscribe button. You don't even have to watch an episode. We just love the support. So please just give us that. We thank you so much.
Yep. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. We're everywhere. Great sport news, great lineup of shows out there. The people of this network, we all really know what we're talking about. We just love talking sports. That's why
It's
we're
one of
here.
the best networks out there. Make sure you like and subscribe. We love you all. Andrew, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you for hopping on with me, Marcus. Everyone, hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you Monday morning.
Yeah, hey, drop.
Prime Coverage Sports Network. Real coverage, real conversation.